that we are going to be heading into Inferno, and CeX just played fierce on Inferno and didn't have the best of times. I think the score was something like 16-6.
Yeah.
So hopefully the same issues still sort of plague on them coming into this matchup. I'd imagine that they're going to be able to make some sort of adaptations, figure out what worked and what didn't against the likes of Fierce, and maybe they can implement that same sort of a solution into this match against Endpoint.
Yeah, well, you're just in the knife round go the way of CEX. They'll take the CT side start, as is mostly expected. It is Inferno. I mean, we've seen a bit more of a balance come out. We've seen a good couple of T sides out from several different teams as well. So I'm expecting to see a bit of a fight held up by Endpoint at the very least. You know, they have been known to have aggressive forces. You know, you take a look at this roster, and it is very clearly a roster that is so much more firepower based than CEX. You know, like I was mentioning on the desk before we got started with the group stage about how Mighty Max, Pulse, Luzzer, all these guys are former UK champions, I-Series champions, epic.LAN champions. You know, obviously they were the finalists of last season here at Grosvenor Coventry. So you're taking a look at these guys, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, they're respectable. They're really good. You know, they can be extremely good. Versus CEX, and the main two names that stand out to me are Rezu and LS, because they have been former CEX alumni. They obviously, Rezu, we mentioned earlier, being the only name that stuck with CEX ever since 2016, basically. You know, he's been around for 2015. Scratch that. Almost forgot I-56, their victory very, very long ago. So that's me being an idiot right there. But regardless, you know, when you compare it to the likes of Endpoint, who have won those championships and won them so much more consistently and so much more recently, and again, and also CEX's results in that last matchup, again, you are just thinking of Endpoint. It's like, yeah, it's probably going to be a decent match for them.
Yeah, and ZNX and Laney are a part of that team that came second at the recent I-Series as well. So they've pulled some talent from that roster and been able to sort of bridge the gap of those two Serbian players that ended up having to leave the Endpoint roster as a result of troubles getting visas and getting that all sorted so that they could all travel together, be able to prac together, and get into a good environment. But of course, now we will be getting straight into the game. CEX will start on the CT side of things. The kit is available for them. Here on the defensive, Rezu with a kit and a smoke. So far, not too much fighting going on. Endpoint still setting themselves up towards the top side of Banana.
You execute here towards the B-bomb side, smoke towards Coffins and to the cross. Counter smoke come back from the CEX side. They will draw first blood as Rezu and Murky take down to the next and Pulse. Luzzer will try and aggress, but gets no information. Didn't quite spot them as they make their way around. Bomb plant gonna be denied, and Mr. Hoy, nice headshot back on Luzzer. No damage done to CEX so far in this one. Laney will try to see if he can get aggressive and try to take one of those players down. He will be successful, but he's traded immediately alongside Mighty Max going falling. Very good defensive from CEX right there. Counter smokes falling back, just taking their time with this one, allowing the bomb plot to come through for Endpoint, sure, but the retakes still look good.
Yeah, nobody getting too greedy on that CEX side. As soon as they get that opening duel and they win those respective fights, they fall back into those smokes just so that they have that advantage going into the retake. And it's sort of a miraculous shot for Mr. Hoy to push the advantage even further, but they'll be more than happy with how that pistol round went. Keeping everybody alive, they're able to upgrade some of their players' armors for a negligible cost. I think it's something like 350 just from the armor alone. So having that available is certainly a huge benefit to them. Saving out on some cash is the name of the game, and ultimately damage from nades is certainly going to ring on through to Endpoint.
Yeah, of course. Nade splash on Pulse, Buzzer, and Mighty Max. Overall, they should get ripped apart. It is an eco round. Murky gets himself 3 nice frags with those SMG, with that SMG, so $1,800 in the bank account for him. Mighty Max. I mean, yeah, there's not going to be much of a chance out here. You expect that this will be an easy round for the CEX squad. All 5 will stay alive so they can belt for that money. You can already see how much money Murky's got already right here. Like $8,000 in round 3. Like, that's an insane amount. He can already buy the AWP, but that's exactly what he'll do. The question is, will he pass it off to the likes of Rezu? Rezu has been known to take that AWP in the past. You know, he's been an AWPer historically.
Murky is now taking the reins, I think.
It looks like Murky is
a younger gun. He's at one point one of the most inexperienced players on the side of CEX, often made a lot of mistakes at LAN, but is now sort of a critical part of their offense and defensive. They've really worked the system around him, and having that AWP in his hand is certainly a huge benefit. Rezu, though, going down towards B. They're trying to make these SMGs work. Mr. Hoy able to get one and get away. Endpoint now trapped behind smoke, so they attempt to chase down that trade, but now CEX will hold on to map control. They'll play 2 towards each of these bomb sites as a result of losing one of these players, but they may actually get a little bit aggressive here. Mr. Hoy is setting himself up behind that smoke.
Yeah, trying to get passive. I mean, this is where he played so well in the past. LS taking into real possession in the Coffins area. The T's will rotate back to the A-bomb site instead. Nuke Dog and Murky with the AWP and the AUG. Couldn't ask for a better combination if you tried. I mean, it does leave the SMGs back over on the SMG and the FAMAS, I should say, actually back on the B-bomb site. So not the best crossfire if they counter-rotate Endpoint, but looks like they're going to commit towards A instead. Pulse will be first challenge. Flashbangs over as they make their way inside. Pulse gets down towards the good position and looks on for a frag, but Nuke Dog is the first man to fall. Murphy completely blinded off by the smoke as well. Can't quite see any of these players. They all jump phase, try and take shots, getting close to Pulse, but it's all luck at this stage whether he lands or doesn't. The bomb plant will come through. 40 seconds on the clock for the retake to come through from CeX. It is going to be 3v3.
A decent amount of utility to make this work as well. Else can deploy smoke, or deploy Molotov in towards that pit position. Such a troublesome angle to have to deal with. And a couple of smokes available as well. Should they get on the bomb or even siphon off the apartments, use it as a bit of a wall before they approach. The utility will come through. CeX leading the charge alongside Murky, Mr. Hoyt. Hoyt immediately dealt with Mighty Max, buying enough time for his teammates to really spring into action. As soon as he takes first contact, they all swing and take those respective duels, and Murky can do nothing but save.
Yeah, two teammates going down. I mean, it was always going to be difficult with that AWP on the retake, so CeX not going to get away this time. They do grab the big green gun, and again, with the economy that they saved up in the last couple of rounds, it does mean that a bit of a buy can come through. It's not the most confident, actually. I take that back. I thought that they had enough, considering that Murky got 3 kills on an SMG, it's actually got a lot less money than I thought. The AWP investment, a bit more of a commitment than originally thought, and actually, for the most part, CeX going to go CZ Deagle around the big green gun of the CT site. So that means this is essentially an eco here, Yumi. AWP for Murky could try and get something done from the mid position. He certainly did get a good tag on Luzza when he tried for the mid face. Actually going to suppress 2 players back over at the stairs. So if they're not ready for this, this could be ugly, and indeed it is. ZNX first casualty of the round.
Murky still yet to have to sit on the sidelines, still yet to die 3 rounds in. Finding impact with that AWP is going to be a huge benefit here towards CeX. Should this be a B-side execute, you can imagine they'll rotate in, try and recover that rifle, commit to the retake. Maybe even use it to shield Murky. For now, Endpoint are playing it out slow. Not really putting too much presence in towards middle, and Nuke Dog might actually go for that information. He's peered all the way down, so CeX know what's coming. There's 3 players here. Murky gets the second as well. That's the bomb drop. They know exactly what Endpoint's up to, but they're trying to chase these kills down. They're going past the smokes, and Mr. Hoy is being patient. Just waiting for Endpoint to spring the trap, and there it is from Nuke Dog. This flank is going to be massive. This kill on towards Mighty Max is absolutely pivotal. Mr. Hoy misses shot after shot. Eventually just what is that?
Well, nice turn around from Luzza at the very least. Nice timing on that one. Mighty Max comes up with 2 of his own, right? You're looking very puzzled there, Yumi. Michael.
It's just taken far too long, I think, right? I mean, Max has the timing down in his head as well. I think the smoke just began to fade behind him, and because of that, he turned. But that is, even with him turning around, that should almost always be a kill that Nuke Dog's able to react to. He held all the cards. That could have been a changing moment here for CeX, but instead it's an equalizing factor. Murky will reinvest into the AWP, rifles will come out, but they don't have the best amount of utility to really contest bottom B, but they're still going to go for it.
Yeah, a little bit coming out initially, but it's actually laying the first frag through the apartments building. Murky will get trading back on the AWP immediately into this round with the sniper. Just take a note as well, he's on 10 kills already.
Yeah.
Like, it's only been 5 rounds. Murky's been insane for CeX so far. Certainly the multi-frags do help out with that factor, but Endpoint on the front foot at this stage. Murky, 50 points of HP, a 4 versus 4 match. I try it back here, and he misses that crucial flick back on Laney. So now the hit will come through towards B. Only Rezu 2 defenders. ZNX around this corner, ready for the over-commitment, and will catch his shoulder, but not get the kill. Any damage being done, and the burst fire can come out. The AK pushes onto the site, and Luzza, Orb, just trailing behind him. We'll get that bomb plant down towards Coffin, the standard bomb plant stage at this, standard bomb plant position at this stage. Line up there for ZNX, actually takes out his own teammate by taking out Rezu as well, so a little bit of miscoordination there from the Endpoint side. 3v3 though, still could be a decent afterplan.
Laney waiting for the flank. Oh, LS wins that respective gunfight. That traps the Endpoint players towards what? Mighty Max! That's a fantastic flick to get the double kill. ZNX should have Mr. Hoyt dead to rights. He's attempting to chase down that frag, but he just cannot do it. He can't swing out wide enough to eliminate Mighty Max. What a phenomenal round he's had in the post plan. He gets the triple as well. The leader for Endpoint delivers in a massive way with that bomb ticking down. I thought he was dead. I thought the trade was there, but he eliminates every doubt in my mind.
Well, eat your heart out, Murky. Only 3 rounds behind you, 3 kills behind you is Mighty Max. That was just beautiful shooting from Max. Good peek in, shoulder bait, quickly peek back behind the grill, and then turn the 90-degree angle to the banana position, and instantly got that player down. Again, 3 kills for the man. So well done by him. At Endpoint, a bit of a slow start in the first couple of rounds, but now here we are at round 6, and it's a 3-2 lead for them. With an eco coming through for CEX. It's pistols only. Boosts coming out on top of the wood stack, over on the A-bomb site at the very least.
This is a pistol setup I've seen CX do a number of times before, so I wonder if Endpoint have that same sort of knowledge that that's a stack that they're somewhat familiar with. They may mitigate those archers by just simply smoking it off and making their way over either towards B or just crunching towards that A side, as where they'll be able to funnel all those pistols in one direction.
Eventually a 5th player will rotate up for the stack. And little do they know that Endpoint are going to be anyway. Probably use that utility smokes up to the coffins. To cross, Molotovs in. A bit overkill because they're going to get fully over. Endpoint don't really want to risk anything. I mean, CEX still have pistols. They're still guns. They can still do damage. Ooh, and Laney will take the first man. LS down, Nuke Dog down. Triple kill for him. Nice and easy again. Carol's players, no real resistance being thrown up by CEX, as you would expect in this round. It's all a ruse to look towards that 4th round of loss bonus and the buy-up coming through for the CEX squad. Endpoint in this one. All 5 will look to stay alive. ZNX. There we go. Mighty Max finishes the job. And there you go. The money is now flowing for CEX as they go in for the buy. Not a lot of AWP potential. Actually, there's no... Well, maybe. Murky might want to go for this to go for glass cannon, though. It's not going to be enough for the Kevlar as well. And he's considering it. Oh, sorry, it will go for the Kevlar. My maths are very wrong. I'm being an idiot, you know. As usual.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's barely enough cash to be able to afford up the armor, but it means that he has to skimp out on any level of utilities. You'd at least value maybe a smoke or a flash to help support your teammates. Even with that AWP in play, you just have to simply dodge out the nades, especially if you're not going for that B pick. It's a little bit easier to navigate in such a way that you avoid the utility damage, as you don't have to worry about these SMGs or really Glocks overrunning you. It's the main points of the armor that are a factor. The AKs will more than likely win out their respective gunfights, but Pulse gets that fight. Mighty Max is there to support, but they win those first initial duels, and they actually deal with the majority of the A-side defense. Murky and Rezu have to rotate, but Rezu's running through the flames. He almost got the kill in towards Mighty Max, who's such low HP. 1 HP.
Now Laney can take him down as a result. Murky comes up with a quick trade back on Luzza. All even once again. CEX with a HP advantage, and Endpoint have Mighty Max on 1 point of health. Barely escaped death with the bullets flying all over the place. The running spray. And now Murky makes his way in, does not spot Max. Graveyard 4x3 is going to hurt him. And Mr. Hoy, now last man standing, turns it to a 1 versus 1. Laney still back towards pit. AK versus AUG. And the AK tempted to face, but Mr. Hoy has to force the issue. And he's not going to be successful. 2 kills for Laney. Endpoint going to connect 5.
Interestingly enough, Laney didn't actually buy armor in that round. But he's still able to win out the gunfight because he has such a powerful post-plant position. You can tell how awkward that was for Mr. Hoy. He had to traverse the entire portion of that A site just to get in towards pit. And Laney plays his cover to perfection. This is a bit concerning for CEX, though. The only one that's really stepping up to the fragging plate is Murky. He sits at 12. The rest of his team, 3 at the most.
Well, Mr. Hoy, Dingo out to start things off. I mean, can be deadly on the deco. It is a deco at the end of the day, so we must expect Emperor to be able to force the issues in the next round. It's Rezu with 5 points of health. Nuke Dog also falling to the mid position. So just as quickly, Endpoint will be dealing with the CEX side. LS around the corner. I'm not expecting Pulse to be hiding in the corner of his own right, and that will be 6 now for the Endpoint squad. 4 rounds of deficit above at CEX, and I have another buy up here. Max loss bonus for the CT forces. There should also be a decent amount of utility coming through as well. Most everybody should be able to get a 3 set. Yeah, 4 full sets, 3 full sets, excuse me, coming out for Mr. Hoy, Rezu, and LS. That's the full sets for everybody on the Endpoint side. And their money is now really stacking up, landing on $10,000 post-buy. Because Endpoint doing a lot of early damage towards this banana position. Now, utility is such a key point of contention when it comes through. So many nades can do so much damage. Murky will get the opening kill. That was towards the mid position, I believe. Yeah, he's back over on the apartments, so probably second mid where that kill fell down. Regardless, though, It's a nice start for CEX. They've taken a lot of damage back towards that banana position, and Endpoint, if they've shown anything, is that they can force the issue.
A lot of damage done in the early stages of the round. Endpoint looking to get a kill back into their favor. Explore a number of different avenues, still poking and prodding in towards middle as well. Got enough utility to make this B-side execute work, should that be the play, and it seems like they are setting themselves up for one. Smokes are there, at least in a duo, and they have a Molotov as well to flush out some of these troublesome angles. Maybe the box position or in towards the first oranges, but they don't use it. They don't use that utility. Instead, they want to use it for potentially a post plant, but at that point, you're just being greedy. You're already a man down, then CEX play it out and play off one another in towards the site. Mr. Hoy given the first opportunity, but Rezu can't land the shot either. They get the 3 kills in rapid succession. That equalizes the affair.
And Murky can't get the trade frag either. It's suddenly on to LS 1v2. HP advantage for him. Both players are tagged up to 52 and 15. A chance available for the Lone Ranger for the CT side, but Endpoint 2 versus 5 have turned it to a 2 versus 1. As you say, 4 frags, quick succession. The CEX crumble on the B site retake. LS moves in. 1 good kill to the other. 1 good tag will take him down as the AWP shot only gets delayed, but Mighty Max knows how to trade. 3 kills for him. Again, leading the charge for the Endpoint frags. 13 in 10 rounds, tying up with Murky at this stage. But Laney being that extra element of support. 10 frags in his name. Both players hitting double digits.
How do CEX give up a round like that? I mean, a 2 versus 5, I know.
Well, here's the thing, right? The 2 players that actually got that 2 versus 5 were the 2 players that me and you highlighted, Mighty Max and Luzzer. There's a good reason for that, because they are very good players, and on that AWP, on that AK, it worked perfectly for them.
It's sort of heartbreaking to watch if you're a CEX fan, right? I mean, it's the type of round that you almost always have in the bag, but they try to take those individual duels, they lose them on the bomb site, and then suddenly that smoke fades, and that opens up a whole new avenue of attack that Endpoint exploits. So it was that could be absolutely devastating. I thought that might have been a way back in that would have done a lot to their economy, to keeping 5 players alive or 4 players alive respectively. But instead, it's the clutch potential and the veteran level play from Endpoint that brings them to round number 7. Of course, that forces CEX down to just upgraded pistols, but Murky's going to continue his good strides. He gets another kill with the Deagle, but it's still going to be the push on towards the B site.
It's a stack on the B site as well. 4v4 now with pistols leaving all over the shot. Murky gets another kill off Holt. They will trade it back on Rezu. Snoop holds, and LS also holds the same. 1v1, Murky and Laney. Deagle versus AK, headshot v headshot. Murky knows! And he peeks in for the 3. CEX. An eco stack, and that's the reason why you eco stack there, Yumi. Because you know that if Endpoint push it, if they commit, you have a decent chance to potentially steal a round away.
And Murky is still on an absolute heater. 16-6, he gets 3 kills with the Deagle in that round for CEX, and that's a huge bounce back for their economy. I mean, it does come down to the one-on-one, so it's a full reinvestment from both of these teams regardless, but it's a huge confidence booster as well. They need a little bit more space for CEX to have something running, but Mr. Hoy a little bit slow to react. He goes for the push down second middle, but Nuke Dog picks up the pieces. A double kill for him, but it's traded right back.
Yeah, good positional and support play coming in from CEX, particularly Nuke Dog. Does go down for his trouble, but now Murky here to left to hold his own on the B bomb site, playing contact, will now force the rotations. Good flash to support himself, and will stop Endpoint for the moment. He can reposition, try to get another shot, but it's not going to happen. Second phase probably not go well, but he will land the flick on ZNX, and the second not quite. Mighty Max spotted, but he gets it to a 2 versus 2. CEX, Rezu, and LS up for the retake. 2-pronged attack towards Banana and the main cross. Lazo will get that bomb plant down towards first. LS and Rezu have no idea since the smokes are up. And now the post-plant positions will come through. 1 to Coffins, 1 to Nubox. Interestingly enough, that leaves a little bit of breathing room for the Endpoint side, but CEX, no information. They're going to have a much tougher time.
They've got a couple of Molotovs, so they're going to almost re-exec on towards the B bomb side to try and flush these players out into the open, but the problem is Laza has that AWP, he was able to hold the angles, and he gets both the kills at the end there. It's coming down to the individuals. It really is on the side of Endpoint that are pulling through, because you look at the side of CEX, they're relying on Murky to get all of these multi-frags, and it's a huge disparity between him and the next following player. 5 is the highest behind him.
Yeah, this is what we call a hard carry.
Yeah.
For the CEX side. Murky, he's doing wonders for his team. You know, he's certainly proving himself to be a very impressive player, but you know, at the end of the day, the team needs to perform.
Yeah.
You all need to get some. You all need to do some fragging power. You all need to have a little bit of you know, contribution to the rounds. Now, ideally, it would be 1 frag each for each round that's gone by, and you can't say that for the CEX side. Most of them, at the very least. Murky has gone above and beyond so far for his squad. We'll try and see if he can hold first contact alongside Mr. Hui and Rezu over on the B-bomb site, and it's just not going to happen. Murky, AK recovered. I imagine he'll just hold on to that and save it. LS might throw himself at the half here, at the map. Just going to get thrown down immediately by the likes of Mighty Max 1 versus 4. LS, yeah, he's going to save it. Bomb will go down, and it will be a 9th for Endpoint, just as dominating fashion. And, no, they are handling CEX much more confidently than they handled London Lynx. I have to say that much. Maybe it was a warm-up game in that London Lynx match. Still. 16-7 was that scoreline. Still pretty far gone. CEX not showing the same sort of potential right now. They are really struggling. Yeah, and it is CT side Inferno as well, man.
Yeah, and maybe it's maybe not being as comfortable on the map as you once thought. I mean, they had a pretty tough game against Fierce not long than 20 minutes ago, where they suffered a similar sort of result. I mean, 16-6. Isn't the most competitive. It doesn't lend itself for much confidence here for CX being able to mount a comeback, because Endpoint are having similar success. Maybe this isn't a map that CX should allow into their veto process, but it's also may just come down to just individuals showing up. We've seen a couple of missed opportunities on the side of Nuke Dog on the flank. We have Mr. Hoy going for that peak aggressive down second middle, where it's just a small lapse in sort of reaction times, and it's just may just come down to players not being ready for these aggressive peaks that are being called by either themselves or the IGL.
A lot of damage on the CX to start, and Pulse on lane will kick things off on the A-bomb site. That's already controlled to the A-bomb site, I might add. The bomb is going to be going straight in and getting planted. We see CX players on the B-bomb site realizing, I mean, how do you even retake this bomb site? You know, it's like so much damage done to your own line. A little bit has happened to ZNX and Laney, but you're also 2 players down, and it's just, you know, Inferno is notoriously difficult for being the worst map to retake on. B-bomb site is obviously considered the hardest, but A isn't too far behind it. You know, it's certainly easy with the amount of open space you have and the amount of options that you're given in terms of, you know, going towards the apartments, the entrance towards ramp, mid position, you know, all those various entrances towards the bomb site versus the B site where it only has 2 entrances. And you're looking at it like, okay, well, even then, it's still difficult. But how do you go for a retake at man disadvantage? In fact, Endpoint so confident in the fact that CX aren't going to go for it. They're going to go hunting of their own right. They take these rifles away. CX are not going to get a buy in the next round. They've got no money whatsoever. And Rezu will take at least 1 player back for his trouble, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if he went down here. The next, no, gets a second kill. Third? No.
He escapes.
He stays alive, at the very least. That's a little silver lining for CEX, but when I say a little, I mean like the thinnest silver lining at the moment in this match.
I imagine as well, if they lose the A site in that fashion again, it'll be another call to save. I mean, there's nobody really performing out of their mind enough that they can commit to that, and losing the bomb site so quickly means that they have to be concerned about CT spawn, even when they're making the rotations. It's so difficult to deal with. Only 3 successfully mounted so far for CX on the defensive, and Endpoint looking to have a Stormer of a half, but Murky continues to find these opening picks, and he's just finding kill after kill. LS is able to chime through as well. Mighty Max and Laney are the only 2 remaining, but these are the 2 heavy hitters on the side of Endpoint so far.
I'm going to try and rotate back to the B-bomb site as well. Rezu with the M4A1S. Damaged up on 1 player, does not have any information. He's going to rotate back over to the construction area as well. He might be ready for this. He may be a little bit late to the marker. So here they come. Flashes in. He'll call that info out. Slow to the rotations of that CT side, but Rezu still gets the headshot. It's all left to Laney. 1v4. Weird eco may come up for the CEX squad. The bomb plant can get put down by Laney himself, so there's a bit of a chance available for him to try and put some more damage back against CEX and try and take those rifles away. The double AK and single orb setup for CEX will come into fruition for this retake, and it's all going to rest on Laney to try and do as much damage as he can. If he holds this one down, then fair enough. I mean, there's no defuse kit on the CEX squad, so keep your eyes on him and how he plays this whole thing out.
Slow approach, isolated duel, he takes down LS. Mr. Hoy, not long to follow. Murky, no kit available, he needs to find this kill, and quick. There it is from Murky. He's had the hot hand, but does he have enough time? This is...
He's got time.
Yeah,
he's got time.
It is incredible how much they are relying on Murky to have the game that he is, to even have as many rounds as they do on the CT side.
Oh look, round 15, turn of the half, 21 kills.
Yeah.
Mighty Max ain't too far behind at 19, and when you've got stats like that posting up by Endpoint, it's like, what hope is there for CEX? And Laney, he himself almost found the 1 versus 4 clutch. All came up to Murky to land that 1 shot, and Laney found 2 isolated 1v1s. Like, honestly, I touted CeX to be a potential underdog, a potential dark horse in this particular group, but now seeing what I'm seeing right here, like, it definitely feels like they're not playing as a team. They're playing as individuals who are making some very clear mistakes. Again, why would you face 1v1? You know that there's a man already out there, so, you know, why would you take that risk when you have no Kevlar, no defuse, because you've got to get the round relatively quickly? Face the double. Try your chances of going for a team play rather than a solo play. And Laney almost won it as a result of that. Here comes the facing to Mr. Hoy. Nice up from CEX, but Mighty Max chimes back. Still a 3 versus 2. AWP from Resi will catch him right back off guard. One player left, it's Laney. We've seen him clutch, and this time Murky is not in the play. Nice ball top in the catch Resi off guard. He's going to catch it. AWP misses the shot. Bomb's been left back over to the banana cross, though, and that allows Nuke Dog a great chance, but Laney picks it back up. Spotted. AWP to close it out. 10-5 for Endpoint, but for CEX, that was a very scrappy half.
Yeah, and up until that round, Murky was out-fragging his entire team accumulatively. That really just sums it up for the side of CEX on that CT side, but Counter-Strike, game of two halves. Maybe they pick things up on T side. Maybe that one round where they sort of just say, you know what, we're going to take the fight to Endpoint. They played a bit more reserved in those previous rounds, and they were still losing out their respective duels. But I think after that engagement with Laney, it may be a little bit of a, I don't want to say tilt, but maybe a bit of a rash call to take those fights aggressively. But it works out for them. They catch Endpoint off guard, and they get a 5th to their name. But this pistol is, I think, going to set the tone for the rest of this half.
Pulse falling back. He knows the rush is coming into the apartments. All CEX players out for him. Pulse on the one side looking for the headshot for the first man, but no, Nuke Dog and Mr. Hoy take him and Loza out of the play for start things off. Mighty Max also caught on a rotation by Murky, leaves ZNX and Laney. The 2 new guns for Endpoint. 2 versus 5 scenario. And it is the pistol round. You might as well throw yourself at it. CEX much better in that outburst compared to how the entire CT half went for them. And yeah, they will claim the pistol, will claim a bit of a lifeline. Deny Endpoint from getting close to that match point, but yeah, still, it's a bit of a scoreline to overcome at this stage.
So an exit kill on towards Resu as they attempt the hunt. They want these players to get away with some free armor into the following round. Of course, I think if they did, they'd be tempted into a situation where they might force buy. Of course, Endpoint have a bit of a round buffer accumulated, so that going for the force buy isn't all too detrimental either. It allows them to get the AWP. And ZNX actually secures his exit. Nuke Dog's not going to be able to chase things down. Both players stay alive. They deal with every player that went on the hunt. But now, what's the call from Endpoint? We've talked about it a number of times in our matchups today. You approach the second round in a multitude of different ways if you're different teams, depending on the map as well. Endpoint, they're going to force buy into this. This allows them the AWP in their first gun round, allows them additional utility to take banana control should that be on the cards as well. We'll see if they can actually find some success with these pistols, because CEX, although they've had that pretty successful pistol round, have been pretty lackluster in the firefighter department.
Mac 10's going to try and farm up the cash beam off of CEX. Loza close. Gets the deagle down onto Resi, and Mac 10 picks up the spray manically onto LS, get himself a $600 frag. And Nuke Dog still being suppressed with the MP5. Nade onto Loza might take him down. 5 points of health, he stays alive. Of course, we dealt with by Murky back over at the apartment. So, man advantage still for Endpoint. HP has completely dwindled down on the likes of Loza, though. And they will continue to push in towards the A-bomb side. Mighty Max is the man at the moment. CZ up for the first, not quite the second. Nuke Dog will trade him, and Loza's going to smartly wait for his teammates to rotate back into position. They've got weapons dropped. They can recover these. They can use these to their advantage. The problem is still going to be that HP and the fact that, well, CEX do have the site itself. Bomb plant down towards corner. Murky deals with Loza, so that's the automatic weapon out of play. And the 2 CZs are now up to face.
They have kits as well on this CT side.
Yeah, they do.
Time not as much of a factor here for Endpoint. The flash is there to allow Murky a little bit more space. Laney, he deals with Nuke Dog on the site. Murky now has to clutch things out. He's had the hot hand, but they double peek, and that's perfect from Endpoint. They use their spacing to their maximum effectiveness. ZNX should be able to get on the bomb, and they take the round away from CEX. I wondered how dangerous they were going to be on these pistols, and Endpoint pull through. Loza with the crucial double kills to start it all off.
I think the whole round kind of fell apart as soon as Loza made that play.
Yeah.
Recovery chance for CEX towards the end of the 2 versus 2, but as soon as they got the pick on site, the last man so pressured up. And again, Endpoint, they're playing like a team. You saw the clutch from Laney in their T-side half at the very end of that T-side half, and how he was facing against 1v1 isolated duels from CEX. However, this time CEX had to face a 2v1 simultaneous peak from the Endpoint side, and that really makes the difference between Endpoint and CEX right here. They'll aggress. Ooh, good legal from Murky. ZNX wasn't aware that he was in cubby corner. And Mighty Max goes back over to the sandbag, ready to face back around that corner, do some more damage to the likes of Mr. Hoy. But takes the deagle also to the leg. And AUG also picked up by the T-side force, so they better be careful if Endpoint on their chance at this one. Lacking in Kevlar for the T side, so I imagine aim punch might be a thing, but Murky goes forward and again gets Laney. So Mighty Max, lone man left alive. 5 versus 3, the Pistols have worked once again for CEX, and now Endpoint are just taking unaggressively, needlessly aggressive peaks, you know? Like, this is suddenly all falling apart for the Endpoint squad.
Yeah, I think the fact that Murky's able to get those fights pretty much won by himself is what prompts the aggression over towards A. They're looking for a bit more map control, maybe cheat a rotation over, but it goes from bad to worse as a result of going for that information play. Rezu deals with Mighty Max on the rotation, and LS sweeps things up as well. But that's all catalyzed by Murky getting those 2 kills with B. They needed some information to work off of, maybe stack the A bomb site if there was a bit of presence over towards the apartments, but they don't spot it. Instead, they just meet one more player in LS who gets the deagle kill respectively.
I should note as well that CX, the only reason why they're keeping up this much so far against Endpoint is the fact that Murky is on 27 kills.
I thought he'd slow down.
He's 3 away from a 30 bomb. Like,
it's a bit ridiculous.
It is insane. Absolutely insane performance from him today. A big AWP coming out for CEX. Still a 4-round lead to make up against Endpoint, though. Have got to force buy into this next one. Deagles and 5-7s. Obviously, those pistols worked out well for CEX when they came to the fold a few rounds ago. So let's see if they can make it happen as the 1 minute and 20-second marker goes down. Great flash in. Zednek actually wins out that fight. Rezu will trade it, so no man advantage for Endpoint today. But a bit of a risk taken, and they get a little something out of it. They can fall back knowing that they weaken CX a little bit.
That's a very interesting timing as well. They threw a Molotov and a flashbang almost simultaneously. As soon as that Molotov blooms, they use the flash to that advantage, hoping that it either burns the player to a crisp in that he gets stuck on the logs, or they allow that player through.
Laney, lone defensive element here of the B-bomb site. He'll spot Mr. Hoy, take it down, look for LS and almost falls away, but does his damage at the same time. The CT's on rotate, taking their sweet time with this one though. The bomb will get planted 3v3. Looking like Endpoint want to throw caution to the wind and just go straight into this one. 5-7 from Lazar will be taking point. The flashbangs from Mighty Max and Pulse will be crucial here. The smoke, maybe not so much from Pulse, but 5-7 talent from Lazar goes down to Murky. Flashbang evaded here by the T-side forces. Mighty Max waits and Pulse will move up further with his 5-7. He's still got a smoke and a flash available. Spots one, but Rezu will take him out still with a spray, and Max has no chance at this one. He's going to fall back. Another save by Endpoint. Save the Kevlar more than anything else. An 8 on the board for the CEX side. Endpoint, you can expect that to a certain extent, you know. It's pistols versus rifles, but the fact that they got the opening kill, the fact that they were still able to get trades and actually maintain a man advantage for a little bit, like, that's still not terrible, I don't think, Yumi.
Damage done as well. I think, I mean, this is such a difficult set of instances to call because CEX, they win the pistol, they lose the subsequent round, Endpoint suddenly have a huge amount of money under their own wing, and then they lose their respective buy as well to pistols. So now CEX, sure they've been able to convert this round, but and Endpoint aren't going to upgrade pistols themselves. But I think there's an element of danger still to be had because CEX seem to be going head first into a stack here on the side of Endpoint.
Rush around that corner. LS will take the first panic onto Pulse. And the next comes up with one. USP is close. And Lazo and Laney. Oh no. Oh no. The rifles have fallen to pieces. It's a 1 versus 1. And look who's coming up for the clutch. It's Mighty Max versus Nuke Dog. Molotov's in, smokes up to try and give himself a little bit of cover, but Max has landed his headshot so many times in the past, and he will do it. USPs. USPs, Yumi. Oh, man. Murky will not be happy with that. 12 on the board for the ET side.
And that's the 30 bomb complete for Murky, but it's a round lost and with a heavy heart.
Yeah, like, it's a very hollow victory for Murky himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing so well right now. Look at those numbers. Look at those numbers from him. And look at the numbers in comparison by Endpoint. It's much lower than the likes of Mighty Max and Laney, but they're still pretty high. And again, it's a case that Endpoint are performing so well as a unit. CEX, they've got Murky, who's playing out of his mind right now, but that's the only thing that's making it close, and they're still not winning. Look at the aggression coming against Endpoint. They might already catch up Mr. Hoy. That's exactly what will happen. First frag for Endpoint in round 21. They can fall back out, but oh, they've done their job.
That might be the heartbreak that pushes CEX that little bit closer to the edge. Endpoint certainly got a lot of momentum now. not suffering too much damage as a result of those earlier fights either. Nuke Dog was tagged down low. CeX are beginning to congregate. Now finding an opportunity. Mighty Max is at least there to cover.
Nice
Laza
save.
had no idea he was exposed.
Nice save from Max. They'll turn around towards long as well, do a lot of damage to Murky. 21 points of health. He still wins out that fight and gets a little bit of arch control. T-side players looking to aggress and spread over towards A-side, but again, the crossfire from Laza and Pulse is great. The AWP on one. Pulse takes down LS. Murky in a bit of a murky spot of his own right. Bomb dropped. CT's on rotate, and Murky has no idea they're coming in towards that B-bomb site. Obviously, first man forward was Rezu. Murky does get the AWP out of play, but 1 HP left on Nuke Dog. He's forced Pulse into an awkward angle, and Murky still wins the fight, but he runs straight into his own Molotov. And that'll be Nuke Dog on 1 HP for the clutch. Now, if this was Murky, I would have given him a chance. But the fact is Nuke Dog, lesser so. Smoke up will give him a little bit of cover, but Laney coming in for the backstab. Nuke has no idea. And it will be unlucky 13 for Endpoint once again.
Laney was the ticking time bomb. You could see the flank coming, and you just knew that Nuke Dog was in an unwinnable position. 1 HP to his name. There had to be an unreal set of crisp shots from him to pull things back. Endpoint separating themselves, although it's only 5 rounds of difference, there is a huge disparity between these two teams. I think it's fair to say that CeX have won a number of these rounds based on some of the individual potential and a bit of a sporadic and spontaneous round in some of these pistols. But Endpoint, still the favorites to win this one. They've got another bye coming forward, and it's pistols once again for CeX. They were a danger in the previous attempt, but I imagine Endpoint might play a little bit more reserved, knowing that that's a potential issue.
Nuke Dog, what are you doing? I mean, he did get ZNX, that's something, but like...
From one flame to the other.
Exactly, that's the thing. If there was no Molotov there, I would have understood it. You probably just stood in that same position and got the kill anyway. So why he gave up his life, I have no idea. It spirals out of control. Nuke is not happy about that for certain. So 4 versus 2. Murky at the LS trying to look for any way in. Murky was thinking about the bomb site, try to catch Pulse off guard, but Pulse comes up with the kill. And LS, I'm going to just drop that bomb back to the apartments. He knows he's going to get this on the bomb site. Endpoint now 2 rounds away from beating CeX and taking their 2-0 in the group stage. Possibly to go to 3-0 as well. Again, Fierce Esports will be the challenge. But CeX not throwing up much of a challenge at all.
Yeah, based on how we expect the Fierce London Lynx game to go, I think it'll be fair to say that when Endpoint, or if Endpoint wins this game, they'll secure themselves in top 2. It's really about fighting for seeds in that last position spot. CeX suffering a loss of Fierce earlier on. Ooh, that's fantastic from Murky. A fast entry in towards middle. Max was completely isolated, and Pulse is alone on this A site.
Yeah, nice entry from Murky. Again, as you say, Pulse is completely isolated. He's got to wait for backup to arrive. And CeX have cut him off. He's got to defend on his lonesome. And Rezu making his way inside. Pulse will be able to get 1 on the way out. Trained back by Mr. Hoy as NNX comes up with a frag of his own right. They'll know what that bomb's going down. 3 versus 3 as the flashes and smokes and Molotovs come through. They make his way in. 2 kills to his name. And Nuke Dog once again left as the last man standing. CeX have the bomb plant, have the time tick in their favor. Endpoint, however, they've got the fuse kits, they've got flashbangs. They've got enough utility to make their way inside, and Laney might just blind face this flashbang over. He'll avoid it. Oh. And wait in the smoke. Good catch off Laney indeed. A 1 versus 1. A second spray does not get Laza. The AWP was going to miss this time, as Nuke Dog does get the triple kill, does get the 1 versus 3 clutch, but only just.
And that was so smart from Nuke Dog. He could hear the sound cues coming through the smoke, so he positioned himself so that he could completely blindside the player, eliminating the chances, not wanting to take a straight-up aim duel, instead playing it a little bit sneakily, a little bit shadily, some might say, through the smoke, but he does it in such a way that is perfect for CeX. You need another player to step up to the plate if you're that sided, and you want to be able to bridge the gap that Endpoint has begun to create. Murky can only do so much, but ZNX has performed so well. 3 kills on the MP9. There's still another player they need to deal with in Mighty Max, but I don't know that they'll check it.
He does this point. Rezu just barely saw the pixel that gave Mighty Max away, and now to 2 versus 2. Laza lands the AWP shot though, and now it's all the Nuke Dog to clutch it again against Pulse and Laza. In this situation before, he'll be here again. But do they know where he is? How passively does he want to play this? He's got 1 minute and 13 seconds. So much time, in which point, if he just stays still, Endpoint might give away the information already. They'll be playing carefully not to do so. They have no idea where Nuke Dog's at, and they're not checking the new box. They have No indication of this, and Luzza will go down. Nuke Dog strikes down a plant out in the open. Pulse got a nice angle to work with, and he will close out the round. Nuke's a little bit overzealous, a little bit overly impatient in that one. And he could have sold them on the idea that it would have gone to A, you know. I mean, if they bought that and they rotated, then that would have been amazing for him, and probably amazing for CeX to get to double digits just before Endpoint hit match point. But as it stands, it is match point for Endpoint. Nice little bit of repeating phases there.
No, and it's a scrappy force fight, which to try and stave it off. It's the AK, the Scout, the upgraded pistols, the Tech 9. We see it so rarely, but CeX, how are you going to make this one work? You've had phenomenal performances from the hero man himself in Murky. Nuke Dog has come up clutch as well, but such a tall order when ZNX and Mighty Max and all the side of Endpoint are stepping up and shutting you out.
It's a kill for Mighty Max to begin, 4 more to go, and Endpoint will win. Luzza, Pulse, on the board. Pulse gets his double. Nuke Dog comes back with the scout for one quick headshot, but again, it's a 1 versus 3. Again, he's low on HP. Again, he is probably going to be out of this one with no luck, no chance. And shoulder betting right now. They know exactly where he is. They're just going to toy with him a little bit at this stage here, Yumi. Tags coming through, close range against one more man, doing so much damage to Laney and ZNX, but in the end, ZNX will close it out. 16-9, a bit more of a better fight being put up towards the end there, but I do have to say that CeX looked like they were in pretty dire straits throughout most of that matchup.